Today is the first lesson in our graphing unit. So we're going to start by just looking at our graph. I'm highlighting it here. It's on the left-hand side. And there's some things that we need to know about it. So the graph on the left is actually called a coordinate plane. Or we also sometimes call it a Cartesian plane. On the graph, there is what we call an x-axis and a y-axis. So just so we're aware, the x-axis, which is a horizontal axis, is what I'm highlighting in green. So this is our x-axis, and if I put it maybe in blue, our y-axis is the vertical axis, and it's what I'm highlighting in green. All right, there are 4 quadrants. Oops. And they're actually separated by the x-axis and the y-axis. So this area all in here, this would be quadrant 1. And we use Roman numerals for this. Okay. The second quadrant, I've just highlighted it in purple here. So this one is quadrant 2. Okay, and notice that it is separated. We've got the y-axis on the vertical side here, and on the horizontal we've got the x-axis, and that's what I mean when I say I'm separating them. And then we've got quadrant 3. Okay, and again, it's separated by the x-axis and the y-axis, so it's this little green box here. And then over on our bottom right-hand side, we have quadrant 4. Okay, I'll just put that in brackets, the number 4. And again, quadrant 4 is all of the stuff in here. All right. We also have another special point. It is called the origin. And it's the point which occurs when the x and the y-axes cross. So if you look, maybe I'll get rid of some of this over here. It's this point right there. So if I was drawing a bullseye, it's the special point. Maybe I'll put it in red. And this is our origin. We use the plane to represent points which are also called coordinates. Or they also might be called an ordered pair. Basically, these are just 2 words that are describing a point on our graph. All right, so we actually have a way of writing them down. Okay, so an ordered pair, which is just a point on the graph, has 2 values. So if I'm looking at my graph up here, I'm going to just kind of erase everything. Okay, so if I say had a point right here, okay, notice that it's not at the origin, but we want to be able to represent that mathematically. So we use what is called an ordered pair or coordinate, and it has a value for the x and a value for the y. And all that the x is telling you is how far to move from the origin, left or right. So that is our x value. Okay, so the x value here, we'll use some green, and I'll just circle that. Our y value, okay, all that our y value is telling us is how far to move from the origin up or down. Okay, we also call this vertically. Okay, and just so that you are aware, the x values, we call these horizontal. Okay, so if I was just looking at that big green blob, or sorry, blue blob that I put up here, now it's kind of looking a little brownish. If I started at my origin, remember our origin is our bullseye, notice that what I've done is I've moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. So maybe I'll write it down here. First I went 5 to the right, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. Okay, and so we represent this as an ordered pair as 5, and that's from our x value. We moved over horizontally 5, and then we moved up 5. Alright, we're going to do a bunch of these. So for the example that I have put first, it says describe the movement for the point 5, 2, then graph it. So I'm just going to write it in big here. So the first value is always our x value. The second value is our y value. You can remember that because it's in alphabetical order. On the alphabet, x comes before y. Alright, so the 5 is actually telling me, now remember, x is horizontal movement, so it's telling me to move 5 to the, and because there's an invisible plus symbol in front of here, it's telling me to move in the right direction. So move 5 to the right. So that would be if I started, always start at my origin, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so that's what it's told me to do so far. Now, my 2 is telling me next I'm going to move, and because there's an invisible positive sign in front of there, I'm going to move 2 up. And it's up because up is positive and right is also positive. Maybe I'll make a little note there. Up is positive, just like when you go skiing, you're going up a certain amount of feet. And then also going right is positive. And so if you're trying to think, well, what do you mean, what would be negative? So my negative would be down is negative, and to the left is negative. Sorry, there was a little side note there. Alright, so now I'm going to bring it back to what we were talking about. We're looking at this plus 2, and this is telling us to move up 2. So I've moved over 5, so now I'm here, and then I'm going to go 1, 2 up, and then I'm going to put in a dot, and I'm going to actually write in the coordinate. This is 5, 2. And if you want to erase these, you can. You don't have to, but that is our point right there. This is what 5, 2 means. Alright, I've got a few more to do. There's going to be some positives, there's going to be an origin, there's going to be some negatives. Alright, so the first one, we have 0, 0. Okay, this is our origin. Okay, our origin is special. At our origin, we haven't gone anywhere. Okay, so we would say that our origin here is 0, 0. Alright, that's all we had to do for the first one. For B, we have the point 3, 4. So I'm going to go to the right 3, then I'm going to go up 4. Okay, so if maybe I'll use a different color. So we're going to go to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to put in my point. I can erase these little marks if I want to. Those are just helping us get there, but this here is our point. So I'll color it in black, and I'm going to write 3, 4 next to it. And that's all we had to do for B. Alright, for C, the point is -5, 5. So this is telling us it's negative. Okay, so if our x value is negative, then we're going to the left. So I'll write that over here. If our x value is negative, we are moving to the left. Okay, so this means I'm going left 5 units. Our other piece that we have here is positive 5. So we are going to go, and this is our y value. Remember, it's in alphabetical order. So this is our y value. We're going to go up 5. So again, start at your origin, and I'm going to count left 5 now because this is our negative. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it tells me to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll put my dot in there, my point, and I'm going to label it as negative 5, 5. And if you want to erase this stuff, you can. You don't have to. It kind of gets a little bit messy after a while. That's why I like to erase it, but totally up to you. Alright, so we've done point C. Now we just have to do D and E. D is negative 6, negative 3. So the negative 6 is telling me, it's my x value first and then my y value. X is horizontal, so I'm either going to be moving to the left or the right. This is telling me negative, which means I'm going to move left 6 units. Alright. My y value is vertical, so I'm either going to go up or down. Because it's negative, I'm going to go down 3 units. So I always start right back at my origin, and I'm going to go first left 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to put my point in. I can erase this if I want. I don't have to though. And I'm going to write my point in. Alright, E. 8, 1. Let's change this one. Let's do 8, negative 1. Just to change it up a bit. Alright, so it's always x and then y. X is our horizontal, so it says move 8 units and it's positive. So it's either left or right, and right is the positive. So I'm going to go right 8 units. And then my y values are vertical, so I'm either going up or down. And it says -1, so minus is going to be down 1. So I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then down 1. And I'm going to put my point in. I'm going to write my point in. I'm going to erase my little marks there. Oops. There we go. And awesome. I wanted to maybe do one extra one, so let's add F in there. And let's do 0, 5. Alright, so I start at my origin and it tells me, remember it's always x and then y. My x value is going 0 units. So this means I'm not moving away from the origin. For my x values. Okay. The 5 is telling us to go up 5 units. So I start at my origin, I don't move anywhere horizontally, but then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put in my point. I'm going to label it, and I'm going to erase that, and I'm done.